the fun experience is always when you lose count. I don't know if y'all ever been. Well, Kyle, clearly you've never. See, certain things Kyle can't even relate to. So, it's hard to drag him into some of these stories.
Talk to me. You talking to me right now.
Yeah.
When you say lost count, you mean money.
Lost count. So, like when you give them lap dances, you don't.
How many songs are there?
How many songs?
Yeah, you're right.
So some clubs, you get the money to. Yeah, you get the money to the triple up front. You say I'm doing blah, and then when them songs up, you gotta leave. A lot of the hole in the walls, and a lot of the ghetto clubs, you go back there, everything is negotiable. You know what I'm saying?
Everything.
And negotiations happen while she's in your lap, which is fucking you up.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle. Check this out. On this podcast, we're going to talk about the shoe show. That's right. We're talking about strip clubs. And I've got some special co-hosts coming through. My childhood friends, DLuvhall and EazyDuzItVa. Now, on this podcast, we're going to talk about our experiences with strip clubs, the strip club culture, whether or not you should eat at a strip club, or even whether or not you should take your woman to a strip club. And of course, we've got some funny stories. But I'm not going to ramble. What I want you to do is just sit back and chill. We'll drop the theme music and we'll get the podcast jumping. Let's get it.
12 Kyle. 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 12 Kyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for checking out the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. As I mentioned in the intro, we got some special guests. Actually, they're not guests. I mean, if you follow the podcast, you know that they've been on here before. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get the podcast started. My first guest, he is a resident of Charlotte, North Carolina. I was going to say something about his spoken word career, but I'm not going to talk about his album. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my man Derek, a.k.a. DLuvhall. D, what up, baby?
What up, 12 Kyle, podcast, family, all that good stuff. What's going on, everybody?
What's cracking?
Another evening, man. Another show we about to do, and we don't know what it's going to be about, so that means it's going to be a little bananas up in here tonight.
Of course. And my second co-host, man, again, a guy who needs no introduction. You remember him from the podcast. He took it to Allen Iverson or something like that. My man, Ezel, a.k.a. EazyDuzItVa. Zell, what up, baby?
Same old, man. What it do?
You got it. What's cracking? What's good in VA?
Man, same old, man. Same old. Just trying to, trying to keep my head above the sport. Absolutely. I got a couple things, a couple of events, and I got to attend. So yeah, I'm there.
Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah, we got to make it for Hampton Homecoming one year.
Oh, please.
You see what I got to deal with, y'all? Y'all see what I got to deal with? I'm coming to Hampton. I'm coming to Hampton Homecoming next year for real.
Nobody believes you.
Anyway, I got y'all on the podcast, man. As Derek mentioned, like they don't have any ideas of what we're going to talk about. But I wanted to get them on the podcast, man. I was listening to a couple of podcasts earlier this week, and I got the idea. It's something I talked about before on this podcast, but I wanted to bring my boys in because we've shared in this experience. We're going to talk about the shoe show, strip club.
Oh, okay.
Strip clubs. strip clubs and going to strip clubs, as you hear him laughing in the background.
I'm just laughing. Laughing about to talk about strip clubs. I know. I'm laughing at what's about to happen to you.
So well, I know how to talk because I've talked about strip clubs before.
Okay.
So
Right.
yeah. So we this is going to be entertaining. The shoe show has always been a phenomenon, and I mean, as we've gotten older, I guess how it's been viewed has changed or what have you. And as I mentioned, the three of us, we've actually shared in a few journeys to the shoe show. We've been to a few. We've had a few experiences. So who better than my childhood friends to get on the podcast and talk about strip clubs? So I'll start with you first, D. What was your first experience going to a shoe show? What was the first thing? Do you remember the first time you went and what was it like?
My first time I went, I was stationed in Hawaii.
Okay.
And me and the fellows was like, what can we do tonight? What can we get into?
For the people listening, why were you stationed in Hawaii? What were you doing?
I was in the Army, okay. Straight out of high school, went to the Army, and traveled the world a little bit. So, I claim to be a little worldly, but I'm not. I'm still local. We went to a little shoe show, and you don't know what to expect your first time. I was like 20, I believe, maybe 19. I was real young, and there was one spot that we can get into because we was in the Army or whatever. So we went, a bunch of fools, not knowing what to expect, and it was a culture shock to be certain. I don't recall how much money I spent. I'll let you know that. But it was quite a bit. It was a bit. I didn't have any responsibility, so the monies was rampant, and that was, and it was all new. It was all new.
Okay.
It was maybe 2-3 black women that I remember, and the rest were like local Hawaiian chicks, and that was my first time seeing them like that as well. So I knew I was going to be in trouble for the next couple of years I was stationed there, because if that's what it was going to be like, I was going to be there. But unbelievably, we didn't go that much anymore. We connected with some locals, and we didn't have to go anymore. I'll leave it right there.
Wow, Hawaiian. Okay, I don't think I've ever seen a Hawaiian at the shoe show. That's what's up. What about you, Zell? Your first memories of the shoe show?
The world famous Dewdrop.
Dewdrop?
That was the name of the club, the Dewdrop.
Wow.
And it was in right in between Hampton and Newport News, Virginia. I was in college. And same kind of scenario. What we doing for the weekend. We didn't have a lot of money, so that's why we went to the Dewdrop. Dewdrop, your dollar go a long way. So actually, man, the Dewdrop used to be a little hole in the wall spot.
Sounds like
that probably was. Yeah, it probably was as big as like someone's house, and like the living room was the bar, and the den was the actual strip club. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. It was like that tight. But you would go in there with your at that time, $30, $40 for us was a big deal. To have in your pocket to be able to throw around. You know what I'm saying? So, we would go in there with a team approach, because everybody would have, their portion of dollars. So we just kind of like rotated in and rotated out, and we was able to kind of like, dominate a corner of the table. You know what I mean?
They got a strategy
People go
going
with a
on.
Oh, you got to when you only got a total of about $150 total amongst all of you guys. You know what I'm saying? You know, we had to make it work. But yeah, that was my first experience, and a lot of the college students, you know, who had dreams of making it, dreams of making it on the stripper stage. You know, they actually used to go and dance at that club. One or two students. So we used to see a couple of our colleagues dancing.
Okay.
Interesting.
Impressive.
Hey, Kyle, can I really say something?
Go ahead.
This is not gonna make the air. I'm just gonna let you know. I don't know how long you planning on doing this recording. This would not make the air because this is only gonna get bad. I mean, we're starting at our first experience. I don't even want to talk about the last one.
Hey, well, you know what? I'll put it like this. You say whatever you feel. I know what to say and what not to say.
Hey, but listen, the bad part of it is you was with me. You know what
For those of you listening, you understand if you follow this podcast, you follow these two. Anytime there was trouble to get into, like, and I'm not saying that they have always gotten me in trouble, but like anytime there was trouble for me to get into, these two are usually around. So again, I'm not blaming them for getting me into trouble, but trouble tends to find me when I'm with them. so you can take that for what it's worth. But yeah, we did have a good time. My first experience, I actually talked about it on the podcast. This was early in the podcast. One of my first episodes. My first experience was coming here to Atlanta, actually where I live. And, I was in college at the time, and one of my teammates, shout out to my boy Q, he lived here, and, we came for one weekend, and he's like, yo, man, I'm taking you to the strip club. And I'm like, I had heard of strip clubs, but I couldn't have been, I don't know, maybe 20, I guess, if that, maybe 19, 20 years old. And so, your first experience, you're just thinking, okay, strip club. Okay. I had nothing to go on. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going into this place and, it's topless women or whatever the case may be. And so I had nothing to go on. I guess at the time, early, maybe mid 90s. So I'm thinking like, when you think of strip club, you're thinking it's some type of seedy and a shady type of environment, some place where prostitutes might be or something like that. And so I was laughing. And so I was like, I had no point of reference basically. So Q takes me to this place called Playboy Palace, and Playboy Palace, it doesn't exist anymore, but it was on the west side off of Old National Highway, in College Park. And so we get there, and again, he tells me nothing. He just assumed that I knew. And so when we walk in, everybody's naked. And I'm like, and I kind of elbow him. I'm like, yo, Q, they naked up in here. And he was like, yeah, fool. He's like, yeah, they're supposed to be naked. It's a strip club. And so like, I was blown. I mean, so like, I was blown when I hit the door. Cause he didn't tell me that this was what it was going to be. So I literally was like, my mouth was on the floor. And then I remember walking in and he saw somebody that he knew, a dude, one of those dudes that he grew up with, I guess, saw his dad. And so that was even more bugged out because it's like, we walked in, he saw the dude dad. He was like, yo, what's up, Mr. Parker? Like that. And I'm like, yo, you know that dude? He was like, yeah, that's my boy's father. And I'm like, okay, so it's not weird to you that we're in a strip, and Q and I were the youngest people in this place. I don't even know what the age. I know we weren't 21, so I guess we couldn't drink. I mean, I didn't drink, so it didn't matter. But I was like, okay, well, why are we in here? And so he says what's up to Mr. Parker. And I just found that to be interesting that, you know, here it is, a grown man who recognized, and he didn't say, okay, hey, what are you doing in here? That type of thing. He was just in there just having himself a good time. And so I was like, wow, this is bugged out. And so when the dancers started coming around, he's like, yeah, he was like, yo, they're going to ask you if you want to dance. You know, if you want him to dance, tell them yes or tell them no, whatever the case may be. Much like you, Zell, I ain't had no money. I think I went in there with like $20. And one of the moments that I'll never forget was we were sitting there and the DJ comes on. He's like, coming to the stage, the biggest pussy in Atlanta. On stage 3, Seabreeze. And so I'm like, Seabreeze? Who the hell is a Seabreeze? And this chick came out, and I could say this because I wasn't married at the time. So this chick comes out, and she is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, yo. And so, man, I took the $20 and I was and King grabbed my arm. He's like, yo, man, you can't give her the $20. He's like, man, you got to make her work for it. And man, I lost my mind in there. I literally wanted to marry that chick. So anyway, long story short, that was my first experience. It was bugged out. I had no idea as to what it was about. It was just a club full of black women, beautiful black women naked. And I was just like, I literally lost my mind. And it was after that night, I made the declaration I was moving to Atlanta upon graduation. So it was two things that made me move to Atlanta, Freaknik and Seabreeze. So 22 years later, here I am. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Next question I have for you guys, and I'll start with you, Zell. If and when you do frequent the strip club, do you eat at the strip club? Because that's a huge phenomenon nowadays that people actually eat food, whether it be wings, fries, steak. Do you eat at the strip club? If why or why not?
Okay, so there is probably a couple of rule of thumbs when it comes to eating at strip clubs. Mm-hmm. Some I would never eat at. Like some I would never eat. The Dewdrop is one. Never.
Did they have food at the Dewdrop?
They have food? I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. They have food. They have, they try to do a little something in there. And I think you kind of know the spots. Now, the gentleman clubs, like the higher end kind of gentleman clubs, their food is actually not bad. So it depends on like the level of club if you go to a hole in the wall, I wouldn't suggest eating. But if you go to some of the more higher end clubs, like the private gentleman club type exclusive things, they do have very good food. And sometimes it's not even about the naked women. Like it's about, you know what I mean? It's about the environment and, the food. So, yeah, I say you can, but I don't think you can at every one. So I make a distinction. Some of them is strictly just going there and throw dollars, and it's not, if you get you a drink, make sure you wipe the top of your Heineken off. Yeah, definitely don't just grab and start sucking down your Heineken. You got a quick little one off on the top. Definitely hit the top off. But yeah, man, you can eat at some, but not at all.
Gotcha. What about you, D?
I mean, he just said it all. It's just certain spots you just know better. Certain spots you just know. You walk in and you just know, okay, it's too murky up in here for me to be trying to do anything other than, finesse the whole situation. I'm not even going to play myself. But there are some spots, at least there used to be some spots in Charlotte that, I'm sorry to say this, y'all, they had some good-ass wings. And the wings might have been actually better than the shoe models in some cases.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it was like that. That's why when y'all came here, I'll never take y'all. Like, I'm not going to play myself and have the boys, calling me out for taking to a whack-ass spot. So yeah, I would eat at some spots, but there are some spots that you know the clientele, the location, who run the spot.
Right.
When you've been in the city long enough, you know who runs spots. And yeah, it's just like, yeah, you know what? They don't clean their chicken. I know they don't clean it. They don't clean it, so I'm not even gonna do that. I'm going home with the bubble guts, and that ain't from the heinies. That's from the chicken. So no, I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, some spots you do, and well, I never do buffets anyway. But they got a buffet, I definitely don't do it. I don't do the buffets. Yeah, I don't
Strip
touch.
club. Wow.
Yeah, man, it's a spot here used to do buffets. I don't know if they still do, but this spot used to do buffets here, and I don't know the name of it. I want to say it's called the Gentleman's Club. They used to have the lunch buffet, and cats would go for lunch.
Damn.
Yeah,
I think I've been there. I've been to that one too.
it's possible. It's possible, yeah. So yeah, it can be like that sometimes for some spots, but I don't do the buffet joint.
Quick sidebar.
Oh yeah.
D, you remember that spot you took us to in Charlotte? That was like the hole in the wall spot.
You got to be a little more specific.
This was years ago. I mean, like I think we came up for the Carolina Classic one year, and you took us to some spot, man, and it was like, it was
it the downstairs?
No, it was BYOB. Like dudes was.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I cannot remember the name of that spot.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah, that place was.
That was my spot. I'm sorry. That's why I took y'all to that spot. That was my spot.
That spot was hood as hell.
It was, and I felt at home all night long. Yes, it was hood.
Well, you know what? And I don't know if I told you this that night. I was scared as hell.
You had no reason. Yeah.
No, here's the reason. Because we walked in and nobody got patted down. And I was like, yo, ain't nobody patting nobody down. And it wasn't like it was no security at the front door. Like we just walked in like it was like it was somebody's house. And so I was just like, yo, ain't nobody patting nobody down. So I was like, I'm sure. Now, I didn't have a gun on me, but I'm pretty sure somebody in the club had a gun on them. And so I just kept seeing dudes just getting up and leaving and going. And there were guys that left and went to their car and came back with brown paper bags, drinking out of the brown paper bag. And I was just like, yo, I've never been fearful of being in a spot. I was like, but it felt like at any moment something could pop off.
And nothing ever did.
No. It was straight.
Think about that. Of all the spots I've been to in Charlotte, nothing ever popped up in that spot. And the store was right next door. So that's why it's like that spot. You go right and get like a little deuce and come right back in the spot with your cold deuce.
Yeah,
you know
that's
that
what people did.
yes. And nothing ever popped off at that spot. Ever.
So you remember that spot?
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
So yeah, that was just a quick sidebar. When you said shady spots, it was different. It was different.
It was.
Let me see. Eating. I've never eaten at a strip club. I go for the shoe show and that's it. I will, like Zell said, I'll get a drink, but no, I can't. And I've heard people we've actually debated this, on Twitter and stuff like that. I've heard people talk about, specifically going to specific spots because the food was good. I just can't bring myself to eat food at a strip club. Now, I will say this much. The world famous Magic City here in Atlanta, they had a wing spot right outside, like in the parking lot. So like at this particular time, this was years ago, they weren't serving wings inside for whatever reason. And they had some little guy, he was set up in the parking lot and he just had like a little food stand and he had he was selling wings. And man, when I tell you, these were the best wings I've ever had in my entire life anywhere. And it was right outside of Magic City. I remember going to a club one night. I left that club, went to Magic City, never went in Magic City, just went there just straight for the wings. But yeah, I just can't bring myself to eat food. I've actually seen people eat steak at the strip club. I can't do it, man. I just can't do it. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Hey Kyle, all that does is let me know where you be going. That's all it just confirms your preference in strip clubs. That's all it confirms.
And so what do you mean by that? You mean I like the high end places?
I mean, like, listen, some of the better strip clubs are not high-end places. Like sometimes the doper shoe models don't even be at the high-end joints. The high-end joints are not really, they're not known for having dope dancers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, because the dope boys don't go to those spots. You know what I'm saying? Like the ones with the nice food, like the really nice, like Garrett was talking about the gentleman's club, like these boys don't go there. You know what I'm saying?
They go to that little hole in the water we went to.
That's right. And so them spots, you generally don't eat in those spots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. So I can't bring myself to eat. It's just too much stuff in the air. It's just, I just can't do it. My next question, and before I ask this question, I want to make it perfectly clear that I'm the only married one on this podcast. So, these gentlemen, they can say what they want to say. And they will. Well, have in past or present, have you or will you go to the strip club with your woman? Why or why not?
Who's that for?
That's for you.
Oh, hell no. Hell to the nah, bro. I mean, listen, I understand though. I get, like, what I mean, having experiences with your significant other that you both can enjoy, and kind of not having these secret societies of events that you frequent without them and things like that. I don't see how anything can come out of that that's really productive, and I just don't see the benefit of that. I think it's a reason why, strip clubs do well. I understand why men like strip clubs. I mean, these women come out and their sole purpose is to do whatever they have to do to get your money. Mm-hmm. And guess what? We cool with it. You know what I'm saying? We don't mind, because it's like a very clear exchange. Like, it's a very clear exchange. I give you attention. I give you extra special attention, and you give me your dollars. And we know it. It's like real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you date somebody, it's the same exchange, but they don't say it. You know what I mean? They don't say, hey, bro, like, yeah, you can take me out if you take me to Cheesecake Factory. You know what I'm saying?
Cheesecake Factory.
It's the Cheesecake Factory. It's the same exchange, bro, except in the strip club, it's straight up like, bro, it's 10 for table, it's 20 for the lap, it's you, champagne room, it's whatever. It's, it's, what time it is. And, they don't discriminate. Like, sometimes you go into a club and it'll be the lamest dude ever. You know what I'm saying? Getting crazy attention that he probably would never get in a real world dynamic.
Right. And
so I don't think that's for women. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't need to be let into that secret of what the culture of the strippers do. Like, you won't understand it. They'll go in there and be like turning their nose up at it, or she ain't all that. No, she is. Hey, look, this what y'all do when y'all come to the strip club? Hell yeah, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just sit up here and stare at them. Yep.
Yep. Looking at you all different. Be judging you. Yeah, be judging how you act.
Oh, man. That's
Hey, look. So how many of y'all, see, this is, I'm about to ask a question now here. I done turned into the host. But, so y'all know how y'all tip, right? And you be sitting up at the stage. And, let's say somebody is giving you a good, back shot show. You go put that dollar in there. if your girl there, right, you probably just gonna put the dollar up on the booty and just
on the stage.
On the stage.
Put it on the stage. Yeah, you ain't touching it.
You might even throw that motherfucker. You might throw
But
it.
if your girl ain't there,
You might smack it to your forehead until they're coming.
hey, look, it be all type of conversation at the stage. Hey, what's up, baby? You know what I'm saying? You be having a full dialogue. You know what I'm saying?
How long you been here? How long you been working here?
What time you get off? What time you get off?
You know, and look, that's part of it, man. Part of it is actually like, you know, like, I mean, I know all y'all, maybe with exception of Kyle, wink, wink, that
People say wink.
maybe with exception of Kyle, man, some of the best conversations I had have been in strip clubs with strippers. You know what I'm saying? You know, man, the conversations be funny because, you know, it's just like their whole purpose is to get in your world and to make you comfortable and make you feel desirable. You know, no, man, you can't say that with your girl, man. It's borderline cheating, man. If not, you know, I don't see no woman being able to understand that. It'll come up later. You know what I'm saying?
That is hilarious. He got my head hurting.
my.
What about you, D? So Zell's answer is no. So he's never been, apparently never will go with his woman. You two are single. Have you ever done it? And if so, would you do it again?
No and hell to the nah. That is such a bad territory to go into, man. I mean, like Zeke says, for some people it might make sense. It might, whatever for them. I don't need my lady to see how I am around that loose booty. I don't need her to see that. I'm sorry. I just don't need her to see how I act. Because I'm going to be judged. You're right. It's going to be judgment. There's going to be so much, so you like heels now. I mean, damn. I mean, not really, but last night, that shit was fresh. I don't know why we having this conversation right now.
Right.
You know, the Tim's is cool. What you worry about? So I don't think that's a good idea. And I mean, I've been with women as friends, but my lady, no, hell no, nah. There's no. I'm sorry. Let me not try to be all inclusive. I don't see anything you can gain from that, from a relationship status. I don't see it. That's just me speaking for myself. I do not see anything you gain for the relationship by doing that. Now, for some people, it stimulates them. For some people, they eroticize like that. That's for some. Not for my black ass. That ain't for me at all. Because like Z said, there's some conversations you have that you just, we know what the deal is. She don't like me like that.
Right. Yeah, she's one.
She don't like me like that. Everybody like my beard. Don't front like you don't want like my beard. Everybody like my beard. So stop fronting. Yes, it was shiny last night too. You ain't nothing to the shine. So I get the conversation. It's a tit for tat. You know what I'm saying? She doing what she got to do. And I'm easing my mind. I might have had a rough week, whatever. I'm doing what I got to do, but it ain't real.
Right.
But your girl makes it real. When you take your lady, she's gonna make that shit real. But what was y'all talking about? What was y'all so kikiing about? How come you don't talk to me like that? There's too many questions behind that shit, B. It's like I wasn't even really talking to her like for real. Like my name ain't really Darius. What you doing? I ain't getting bitch. I gave her my stage name. I ain't gave her my real name. What you worried about?
Oh, this is funny. This sounds like he's had these conversations before, prior to going to the strip club. Oh man. Well, I'm a little different.
Yes.
And you guys know me and my wife Sharice, we've actually been together. We've been a couple of times together. You guys came with us after my 40th birthday party. My whole birthday party crew gang went to the strip club together. We had a good time. I'll say this. The times that we've gone, it's been, I mean, like, we've really had a good time. And I guess part of it is that she knows I am. Like, if I go, let's say I go without her, and strip clubs aren't something that I do, particularly being here in Atlanta. It's not something that I frequent, all the time. It might be once a year, if that, or if my friends come to town and that's where they want to go. So yeah, so it's like, when we've gone, we've had a good time, and we didn't, it wasn't a conversations or anything like that. It wasn't anything awkward or anything like that. Cause again, she knows I am, like, if I went with my friends, I tell her, boom, boom. She knows I'm not going to go spend a whole bunch of, and you guys know this. I ain't going to spend a bunch of money at the strip club anyway. We went to one strip club one time. I think I went in with $30 and I came home with like 20. so y'all know I'll buy a round of drinks, but me just dropping money on women that I'm not, involved with, that's not gonna happen. Nonetheless, I enjoy the atmosphere, whatever like that, enjoy the music. But yeah, we had a good time. We had a good time. We've been about, I'd say probably about 4 or 5 times. And I remember one night we went somewhere downtown. We were at a club and we were coming back and we were driving past Club Strokers. And she was like, yo, Strokers parking lot looks packed. And I was like, yeah, it is. I said, like, it's jumping over there. She was like, you want to go? I was like, all right, bet. So we went there. We ended up staying in there till like, I don't know, it was probably like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, just having a good time. And so again, she knows me. She knows I'm attracted to her. So, but I do understand that point what you guys are making as far as like the conversations and stuff like that. And some people, it's a sore subject. So that leads me to my next question. And Derek, I'll start with you. Should a man ask his woman, can he go to the strip club?
No. I mean, all right. I'm sorry. Disclaimer. I live for me. All right. I don't think a man should have to ask permission for anything that's legal. That's just, I'm sorry. I know it now. Courtesy is different. Being courteous about it, that's a different scenario. But having to ask, like, nah. What? Nah. That's sensitive for me. You asking permission for something legal? Nah. Now you have to gauge who you're dealing with. Like if you're dealing with a person that requires you to do something like that and you're cool with it, then that's a different story. But if you're the type of person that likes to be free and you engage with someone who needs you to ask for stuff, just my personal opinion, you should dip. I don't care how good the head is or the cooch. I don't care. No. There's nothing good enough to where you should stay in a situation that you're not comfortable in. So if you're the type of person that likes to do stuff and you don't necessarily have to ask for permission, then you probably shouldn't deal with someone who requires you to get their permission. Now there are some people who do require that. They require you to ask, and it's like if you're willing to settle for that, if you're willing to deal with that type of person, good for you. I wouldn't engage with someone who requires me to do that. Now, out of respect, I may, let them know that's where I'm headed, or I may not. I don't know. I just get in my mood sometimes. I let people know what I'm doing. Sometimes I don't. But I'm not going to disrespect the relationship. And I think there's a line. I think there's a line that people tend to misunderstand that line. Just because you do something that may, I don't know how to put this, but you don't have to disrespect the relationship just because you're doing something like that. You can go to that. We do. We listen. When we were younger, we went to those spots, had our minds blown, blah 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 blah. Right. And then we had our moments of maturity and responsibility where we went to those spots just for leisure and just to hang out with the boys. And then the people that were there working, we really didn't see them. I mean, think about the times we went out to spots together and we really didn't wild out with the people that were there because we was wilding with each other.
Exactly. We
just happened to be in that spot. So I think there's a way you can maneuver that and not be disrespectful. But if you gotta ask permission, that to me, that's a toxic type of relationship where you gotta get permission as an adult to do something legal. So I would say no, you don't. But for the ones that do, I hope that her mouth is extravagant.
What about you, Zell? Well, do you feel like you should have to? What happened? And the reason why I ask this question is because I know of someone who's actually going to listen to this podcast, and he had to ask his woman, could he go to a strip club? And it set off a fight. And I was like, that was mind boggling to me that he had to ask. So what's your take on it?
I mean, for all the people out there listening to this podcast, I would hope that you apply nuance to all these circumstances. Okay. There are always nuances that will shape and shift these stories, depending on certain variables. Derek and I are divorced, so that's number one. It's just, I think we need to kind of restate that.
I was trying to be political about it, but
we may have a little more of an aggressive mindset about certain things. And Kyle, who's currently married and married your college sweetheart, I must say, y'all grew up together, so y'all have a better understanding of who one another. Y'all know each other very well. Very well. Yeah. Everybody else has to get to know each other. So let's just go on to this whole thing about asking for permission.
I like the way you preface that.
No, you shouldn't have to ask for permission. No. A lot of reasons why, but the first thing that come to mind, I would have to just say, it's very simple, man. Like, if you knew me, like if you know me, you know that is something that I do. And just because we together, that don't mean I'm just going to strike that off the list of things that I do. No, like I go to basketball games. I like sporting events. I like Top Golf. I like going bowling. I like going to strip clubs. It's on the list. It's on the list, bro. It's on the list. Now, do I frequent it all the time? No, of course not. But, it's on the list. And I think that whoever you meet, that's something that I think should be common knowledge, or at least that I've done it. I'm sure I wouldn't hide it if I talked to somebody, with my mouth. I'm probably told you, we're going out, we about to do this, that, and the third. So, yeah, I mean, very similar to Derek. I just think that, you can always show respect if you were in a relationship and it became an issue, depending on what phase you were in. As Derek alluded to, when we were younger and then we were more mature, and, we've had different phases. So, as a 46-year-old man, my strip club etiquette is not the same as it was when I was 25. It's just not the same. Like little things. Like, see, Kyle talks about how he goes to the strip club and they have fun. But, K-Dot, I mean, have you ever went to a strip club and while you were enjoying the stripper, I ain't gonna say what you was doing, like if she was dancing in front of you, have you ever pulled out your cell phone while you talking to the stripper? Like stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's a clear violation, and I'm sure you wouldn't do in front of anybody, in front of your girl, or and that's the type of etiquette that, I mean, I've done some things, right? I've done some things. So, there are some things that I wouldn't say, there's some things that I think would be considered disrespect in some instances. And so, if it's a problem for the relationship, then I think it's up for a discussion. But as far as asking permission, I think these things should have been discussed long before we got together.
Right.
So, like while I'm ripping and running, and you'd be like, oh my God, you got to strip clubs? All right, we probably ain't gonna make it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I get that reaction, we probably not gonna make it, just because that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's gonna be other issues that come about where we start getting judgy and all that. going to strip clubs is a metaphor. It's like a metaphor for other things in relationships. So if you can deal with the strip club phenomenon and understand it, imagine walking into a grocery store and every step you took, somebody was like, hey, baby, oh, my God, he fine. That's what going to the strip club is like. You know what I'm saying? For a man, that's what it's like. Like, see, women, unfortunately, okay, I ain't gonna say all women, but a lot of women experience that level of validation way more than men.
Of course.
Because
and some women,
yes, some girls, women, they can't stop. Cats be stopping in their cars, pulling up beside them. They get a lot of validation. Men, we walk through, we don't get that same level of validation. But when we go to the strip club, oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? It's totally different. So, I would, if I couldn't find that sense of validation anywhere else but the strip club, I mean, you can't be mad that it's one of the things that's on my list. So, I don't ask for permission, but if it's a problem, we can have a conversation about it. But before we get together, that's going to be, if you got a problem now, I'm already know that.
No doubt. Yeah, I agree. And that's one of the things I think, like, that conversation needs to be had in the initial stages of getting to know somebody before you start even dating or going out and get married, whatever the case may be. If that's something that you do, even if it's just something that you're doing on a, not even on a regular basis. And so I was kind of taken aback by the dude who told me that he asked because, he made it sound like he was bothered by the fact that she was tripping. And my question was, well, why did you ask? Because I think, in your relationship, and then this is somebody he'd been dating for, I'd say maybe about 8 months. So, I would think that it would have come up prior to this. And, just because he was going to the strip club doesn't mean that he was looking for sex, doesn't mean he was looking for any type of entertainment or any type of attention, if you will. And so I don't believe in, having to ask someone. Like you said, Dia, it's about respect. You say, hey, this is where I'm going. I'm going here and I'll be back, that type of thing. And that's what I do, in my marriage. But I mean, it's like Zell said, we have an understanding of who we are to each other. Mm-hmm. So again, she knows I'm not going to go spend, a couple of racks in the strip club. It's just not going to happen. But, yeah. But yeah, so it's, I think what happens is people have to understand, you have to understand who you're dealing with and, what they have and what you bring to the table and what they bring to the table. So I think. And
it sounds like your boy got some other violations too. Right? There's been some other breaches. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just me, you know what I mean? Like, when you ride to ask for permission, that means you done have some other violations somewhere.
Oh man. So D, let me throw it back to you. Some of your favorite spots. What are some of the favorite spots that you hit over the years?
Oh boy. Like I said, I try to play the international thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't front. The spots I've been to in Charlotte and Atlanta, Flowtown, LA, a couple of spots I've been to, they've been cool. They've been cool. I went to a spot in Jackson, Mississippi that was cool, but nothing in my life. Nothing has come close to what I've seen in Thailand.
Oh, wow. They giving it up like that in Thailand?
Like that.
Wow.
Like that. Let me tell you something, man. You talking about getting your money's worth? You getting your money's worth and then some.
So are they playing like our music over there? Are they playing?
They were, but they was a variation. They had clubs, right? Like they had regular strip clubs that played our music, and it was all Thai women trying to dance, but they were trying. But then they had some spots that was shows, like the fish bowls and the shows. I went to a couple of spots that had fuck shows.
Wow.
And they would have people come on stage and fuck and do magic tricks with their pussy, like blow like ping pong balls out of their pussy, playing ping pong their pussies and putting fire. I've seen it all. I've seen it all.
This is not gonna make the air. This is not gonna make the air.
I mean, I thought we established that.
No, it's gonna make the air.
We didn't establish that. Okay, yeah. I've seen some unbelievable things in the country of Thailand. I mean, Bangkok, speak it.
Wow.
I thought I knew. You know, I thought I was gully when I went over there. I thought I knew something. No. I didn't know nothing. I saw everything over there. And I'm talking about, you know, when you say a fuck show, you think they simulating or whatever? Mm-hmm. Nah. No.
Wow.
No. I saw it all on stage.
Oh my.
In front. It wasn't like you go to a back room behind the curtain. No, this was on the stage, the main stage.
In the strip club.
Yes, putting eggs in their joint, smacking the floor, and you thinking it's a boiled egg. She stands up, drop the egg, pow, the egg cracks on the floor, my nigga. I seen it all.
Wow.
I didn't even tell y'all this shit because I was like, I can't tell my boys that they ain't gonna believe this shit. But now that we talking about it in our 40s,
yeah, because I've never heard this story. Wow. Impressive.
No. Happy endings are real.
Impressive. Wow.
They're all, everything you hear about is real. That's the best I've ever seen in my life.
No wonder Bob Kraft was in that place in Florida.
Yep. and that's why you never saw me tweet about him. You never saw me Facebook about him because I understood.
Bob Kraft was in there getting the egg treatment.
Right.
What about you, Zell? What are some of your favorite spots?
Man, I don't know if I can really say favorites. Well, yeah, I do have a couple spots, but I have like favorite moments.
Okay.
You know,
which was gonna be my next question, but you know.
Oh, okay. Because like sometimes you can go to the hole in wall and have a great time if you find the right chemistry with the right, you know, entertainer. I'm sorry.
Why did you think about reflections when you said that?
Wow. That reflections. Wow.
Yeah, so like we've had some. I mean, you know, we as in, you know, the
collective.
Yeah, it's the collective, but that's on the phone currently. We've had some experiences where like the moments have been dope. It didn't really matter. Like I think Derek alluded to this earlier when he was talking about, you know, just having a good time in the spot with the fellas, just having a good time. So I would say that probably stands out maybe more than the spots. But just to stay on subject, Atlanta, you know, Kyle, Strokers.
Yeah, we did hit Strokers before.
I hit Strokers with you. I hit Strokers with you one time. And then I hit Strokers. I came to Atlanta for some. I might have been with you then too.
Yeah,
remember? I wasn't.
Yeah.
With Tate and all them guys there from Hampton. Yeah. So you know that was a wild night. I remember that. I remember my homeboy had to go to the ATM and get some money. Yeah, that's always the walking shame. Yeah, when the bouncer and the dancer gotta walk you to the ATM. You know, tap. You got to pay like a $7 surcharge for.
Oh, the bouncer and the dancer.
Because they don't want you to dip, especially in them big clubs. You know, you mess around, hit that back wall.
Right.
That corner.
You make a run for the exit. But yeah, Strokers definitely was a stadium. I had a good time. Stadium in DC. Man, we had a moment in Charlotte. I remember we didn't really get to engage a lot, but it was crazy when Onyx.
Yeah, Onyx was cool.
It was crazy.
They got good wings too.
I didn't test the wings.
And I've had some. There was a place here, man. where it didn't last long, and for obvious reasons. They used to have like lock-ins where it wouldn't be like, well, it really wasn't a lock-in. It was only like it was lap dance only.
Okay.
So you would go and it'd be like pool tables and it had like a stage dance area, but the women never danced on the stage. They just came out and you just had to go to the back. There was no stand and kiki. It was strictly to the back. That spot up here, it took a couple of my electric bills. I remember that. I paid for some Sprint bills and that joint back then. So that's just the name of the spot. But yeah, I would say those. I had some great moments in those clubs. And what's the name of the joint in Miami with
King of
Rick
Diamonds?
Ross? King of Diamonds. I've been to King of Diamonds. Yeah, that was pretty elaborate. So yeah, man, I didn't kind of done hit a lot of the majors.
We know.
And a few of the minors too.
Some of us have gotten calls afterwards.
He said the majors and a few of the minors.
Yeah.
My favorite spots, I like you. I don't really have favorite spots because it's really about the moments that you have, with your boys and stuff. Because I mean, for me, it's that process. It's that process of just going out with your fellas and just because we're gonna find something to laugh at, something to have a good time with, or whatever the case may be. Here in Atlanta, I will admit, living here, I'm spoiled. I'm glad that I don't frequent strip clubs often, but I'm very spoiled because the women here look a certain way. And so I'm kind of like under the assumption that that's how it's supposed to be everywhere that you go. And that ain't necessarily the case. Cause I mean, hey, I started at Playboy Palace. But I probably say Strokers here in Atlanta. Let's see. Goosebumps. Goosebumps is dope. That's downtown. Let me see. In our hometown, Purple City. Purple City is pretty nice. We had a good time in Purple City. What else? I had a bad time in Purple City. I had a bad time in Purple City. And what's interesting about my bad time in Purple City, man, like y'all anybody even come check on me. I just, that's what always sticks out of my mind. Like nobody came. I went to the car, and for those of you listening, I talked about this on like might have been the second podcast. Anyway, long story. I'll make a quick long story short. One of our homies, Rudy, shout out to Coca, is getting married, and so we had his bachelor party festivities was to commence at said club, and so I'm with these two guys, and as soon as I walk into Derek's house, they hand me, what was it? What were we drinking? Hennessy?
Probably Hennessy. No, Hennessy.
Yeah, Hennessy straight. I mean, like they didn't even have any Coke anywhere around. So then we go from, because we're in the wedding, and so we leave there. We go to the wedding rehearsal, and I'm eating like string beans and fried chicken and all kind of greasy food. And then so we decide to take it to Purple City. And so we get to Purple City, and somebody bought like rounds of we were taking shots of Crown, and I don't even drink Crown. I'm taking shots of Crown, and then somebody bought some beer. I had like 4 or 5 Heinekens. And so by this time I'm mixing beer and liquor. And then I feel my stomach feeling kind of queasy. So I'm like, okay, hey man, somebody get me a water. So my man Bill bought me a water. And the next thing I know, I'm standing at the bar. I'm talking to a dancer. And before I know it, I turn around and I throw up in the middle of the club. And then I proceed to the bathroom, finish throwing up. And I'm embarrassed and I'm feeling terrible. I'm feeling like crap. And then I walked back in. And I walked back in the club, and everybody. It felt like everybody in Purple City was looking at me like, "Yo, dude, I can't believe you threw up in the club." And so I was like, "Yo, Zell, give me the key, man." So Zell gives me the key. I go get in the car, and I just took a nap. And the next thing I know, it was like, I don't know how much time has passed. Everybody's leaving the club. Like, I literally didn't mean to lay. I only meant to like lay down for like 5 minutes. 5 minutes might have turned into 3 hours. Because the next thing I know, Zell's getting in the car and he's taking me home. And he takes me home. And if you saw the movie House Party, it was just like that. He took me to the door of my mama's house, rang the doorbell, and peeled off in my driveway and left me standing at the door drunk. I have only been drunk once in my life, and that was the only time. And again, as I mentioned at the top of this podcast, when trouble seems to come my way, these two are usually around. So they left me in the car, to sleep it off. I don't even know how long was I in the car? Do y'all remember?
It wasn't that long, bro.
I'm about to say it wasn't that long. You thought it was a long time, but it really wasn't that long.
It felt like I slept all night. So that was a bad memory from Purple City, but it's still a crew running joke. It's still a crew running joke. But yeah, Purple City. Purple City, Strokers, Goosebumps, Magic City here is cool. I mean, it's more of a tourist attraction. I went when I was in college, and I went when I was in college. We were actually playing our bowl game here, and when a football team comes to a bowl game, they give you money as far as your stipend or whatever like that. Man, almost all my teammates blew their stipend in Magic City. We went to Magic City like the first night of our trip. So it was like, you blow your stipend money, like they don't give you more money. Like that's it, so that was always funny. But yeah, those are some of my probably my favorites. And last but not least, Zell, you mentioned it. Favorite memories. You got any that won't incriminate yourself or others? You got any favorite memories from the shoe show?
Man, I got several, man. I have several. And this is a tough discussion,
Tread lightly.
Yeah, tread lightly.
Tough discussion, man. Yeah, man, great moments. All of them. All bachelor parties usually are fun.
God.
So, whether they're privately done or they're at clubs, they're always fun. So those moments.
Don't get a gun pulled on you.
Pay up. Hey, pay up.
See?
Yeah, pay up. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's some funny shit.
I'm back.
Let me get them laps and they got no cash now.
Oh,
And, all those are dope. I had some moments where I've been in where like the relationship between me and the entertainer have always like I've been in some moments where like I got confused a few times. You know what I'm saying? So when T-Pain made the song, people laughed like, "Oh my God, it's like this man," like. No one falls in love with a stripper. Negative. You know what I'm saying? Negative.
oh.
It can happen. And not like in love, like you would think in love, but like moments where you like, yo, I gotta like visit it again. So like, let me let my paper stack for a couple of weekends. I'm coming back to find you. So we can have that experience again. But yeah, there were a couple of times where you get lost in a lap dance. Like man, recently, man, I had a situation with a Caucasian female in a strip club who she enjoyed brothers. Like she really enjoyed African American men.
Whoa.
And you know, me kind of like, oh man, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? you ain't gonna jam me up, you know what I'm saying, pink toe. You're not gonna jam me up. But wow, she began to it was like real ethnic, engagement. I was confused. The only thing that was right about it was the skin. And the conversation was extra cultural. It was like, and then, when you've been had a few drinks and, the lap dances or whatever, you get confused. You know what I'm saying? You get confused. So, but yeah, that was probably the most recent one where I had a Caucasian female who acted like she was African American, and I kind of got lost after a few lap dances. And the fun experience is always when you lose count. I don't know if y'all ever been. Well, Kyle, clearly you've never lost. See, certain things Kyle can't even relate to. So, it's hard to drag him into some of these stories.
Talk to me. You talking to me right now.
Yeah.
When you say lost count, you mean money.
Lost count. So, like, when you giving lap dances, you don't.
How many songs are passed?
How many songs?
Yeah, you're right.
So, like, some clubs, you get the money to. Yeah, you get the money to the triple up front. You say, I'm doing blah, and then when them Johns up, you gotta leave. A lot of the hole in the walls and a lot of the ghetto clubs, you go back there, everything is negotiable. You know what I'm saying?
Everything.
And negotiations happen while she's in your lap, which is fucking you up.
Wow.
So that's how negotiations go down.
Hey, I done been in situations, Kyle, where I lost count and the entertainer looked out. Oh, just give me this. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know how you pull out money in your pocket and you count and you ain't really got enough? And they look at you and be like, oh man, just give me that. You know what I'm saying? Let me take your last 80, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I would say those experiences, man, without getting into too much detail, but getting lost in the count and, having a connection with an entertainer that was so powerful that you want to revisit it. Those are some moments without getting into detail, that was pretty. There's a couple that make the top 2 or 3.
Okay.
We got some close friends of ours who are very good at entertaining us. So I'm sure y'all recall. But
damn.
Oh my God.
yeah, this shit is not gonna make the air.
Oh, this is gonna make the air. Memories. I think for me, like I said, man, anytime with y'all, man, just been it. As for those of you listening can tell, there's never a dull moment when we're around. But probably one of my most memorable moments actually didn't even involve me. My no. So
you want me to tell my memory before you go into that?
No, I got it. So
I'm going to danger zone.
So my boy, our boy Jason, Jason was in town from LA, and Jason and I moved here together. This is my man. Like, we go back 6 years old, and so he was like, "Yo, man, before I go back, we need to hit the strip club." I was like, "All right, cool, we can do that." Because I'm never not down to go, especially if I have people in town. So he was in town. I think he just flew in for one weekend or something like that. It was a long weekend, so we just kind of hung out and kicked it. And so he's like, "Yo, let's hit Strokers." So we hit Strokers, and so I said, "Well, yo, before we leave, I'm gonna get you dance." We had been in there for a couple of hours or whatever like that. And I was like, "Yo, before we leave, I'm gonna get you a dance." I was like, "Which one? Who do you want?" And he pointed out the lady he wanted, but she was dancing with somebody else. And so I walked over to her after she finished dancing with this guy, and I was like, look, I said, my man over there, I said, he's in town. I said, he's about to go back to L.A. tomorrow. I said, he live in L.A. He used to live here. He's been here before, but I said, I need you to show him a good time. I was like, I got the dances. I said, I think I paid for like 4 or 5 dances.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, me. And so I was like, just show him a good time. I said, you need to leave him with a memory. And so I walk away. She goes over, she dances for him or whatever like that. And so when I came back, like after she had finished dancing or whatever, let's just say she left a stain on his pants.
Oh.
And that's all I'm gonna say. And you guys know Jay Fresh, he was happy. She got that turned on. He was happy.
As embarrassing as that may sound, that's actually, a real compliment to the entertainer, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they were able to, like, I call it the candy moment, like, best man.
Hey, well, she left him some Skittles. And you guys know Jay, he was excited. He was so happy, man. So he was straight. But yeah, that's probably one of my most memorable memories. What about you, D?
I got plenty, of course.
Of course.
Some of the best ones, like Z said, was some of the private joints or private bachelor parties. Had a couple of those.
Yeah, those were fun.
Yeah, the Perp Cities was always good. I mean, anytime we kicked it was always cool. I think one of the moments that sticks out to me though might have been the first time me and Zeke went to Reflections, because I didn't know that it existed, first of all.
And where was Reflections at?
In Dillon.
Okay. Wow.
Bro, didn't say south of the border.
Okay. South Carolina.
Let's call it south of the border. I had no idea that this place existed. And he was like, yo, I need to go take you to the spot real quick. I'm like, we done had a couple of drinks and we feeling nice. Let's go. So we get there and I was like, oh, it's one of these. Okay. And you get up in there and it's quality up in there. I was like, wait a minute. And what it was the chicks that worked there, they traveled to the spot.
Yeah.
They didn't live in Dillon or the surrounding. They traveled to the spot. They were traveling shoe models. So you never knew what you was getting involved with. Mm-hmm. You never knew who you was meeting, who you was talking to, whatever. And that might have been the only place that I can think of. I'm really trying to go through my Rolodex. That might have been the only place that I ever hit the ATM when I was there. That's how good of a time I remember having that.
Wow. It's impressive when you got to go to the ATM.
I had to go to the ATM, and I remember meeting somebody from Pageland, and she was like, yo, Pageland that far from Charlotte. And I was like, yeah, nah. Nah. That sounds good. And in this environment, it sounds fantastic, especially with these little shimmering lights in this little room.
Right.
But no. But she was very persuasive.
Mm.
She was very persuasive, and that me and Zell a good time. And that's the only spot I could think of that I ever went, and I wasn't even ashamed. I wasn't even trying to. I wasn't no shame in my game. Where the ATM at? Where the ATM? Y'all got ATM? Hey, let me get a drink. And give me all ones back. All ones. Give me all them shits. So yeah, that might be. I don't know if it's the most memorable. It's one that sticks at the top because I just didn't know it existed. And the location, and then the atmosphere, none of that I was not ready for at all.
I think Rudy was with us that night, right? Was Rudy with us?
It's possible.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Okay.
I wasn't with y'all tonight.
No.
Sometimes we know not to take you someplace.
Yeah. I heard about it.
The guy. What possessed you to do this topic?
Oh man, this has been dope. I got the idea from listening to another podcast, and I was like, you know what, man, this would be dope to have the fellas on. And for those of you listening, you've heard us refer to it as the shoe show because it's the shoe model establishment because that's what ladies are doing. They're not dancing; they're simply modeling shoes. But seriously, the I guess how we have viewed strip clubs over a period of time has changed. Like I said, when we were coming up, it was kind of thought to be a seedy or shady type of spot. And, I think over a period of time and the years have passed, social lines have been blurred and women, when you go into, and I know particularly here in Atlanta, when you go to strip clubs, the women in the strip clubs, they have power. They have the power. They're the attraction, so that is one of the few places where, they're the dominant ones and, we're really at their mercy to some degree. But I will say this, even for the ladies that are listening to this podcast, go to the strip clubs, go with your girls. I remember like the last time I was in Club Strokers, it was literally more women in there than it was men. And me and my wife, we actually made note of that. We was like, yo, these are straight women. But if you keep in mind this fact, one of the best places to meet a man is at a strip club. Because for one, he's got what? He's got money and he's got disposable income. So, take that for what it's worth. But as always, man, always dope to have the fellas on.
It's all good.
We done. I mean, unless you got something else you want to say.
Just knew we were. I'm kind of glad because this only kept getting worse. What was our best moment? I mean, I'm glad we stopped there because I didn't know what question you was gonna ask next. And I'm over here thinking like, Kyle is really crazy. Like he's about to really walk us into this car wreck. He's about to really do this. So yeah, I'm glad you pulling up, dog. I didn't know, but that's what's up, man. Good.
So before we get out of here, man, y'all want to tell them where they can find y'all online, man? D, where they can find you online?
Twitter, Instagram, DLuvhall, DLuvhall. Both spots. I think I'm somewhere else, but I can't keep up. I got a new job, so I can't keep up no more.
It is. That is. What about you, Zell?
What's my Instagram? EazyDuzIt.
EazyDuzItVa.
Yes, I think Twitter's the same. I'm not that active. I do lurk, so you know what I mean. And I also want to say, man, before we get off the air, that I want to give a shout out to all the strippers, man. Y'all have a bad rap when it comes to the value y'all have in society. It's a tremendous value, and it's added a whole lot of quality to my life, and I appreciate the service. That's all I want to say. Just want to give a shout out.
Oh my God, man, my head is splitting. Ladies and gentlemen.
I ain't never got cussed out by a stripper before, man. I've always received love. Never had an argument with a stripper.
Always. Never. That's going to do it for us, man. You guys know where to find me as you've been listening to this podcast for forever. As always, thanks for checking out the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. So for my man DLuvhall and my man EazyDuzItVa, I'm your boy 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys next time. 5,000.